How's it going, everybody? Welcome to We Do Tech, and also to my first look and unboxing of the Asus Strix ROG RTX 3050. The budget card from NVIDIA that hopefully solves all of our problems, but unfortunately it's not going to solve my problem because I don't have any drivers to actually test the card with. So the video is coming out tomorrow, but I don't have any drivers. So this is just going to be an unboxing video and like a run of the specs and everything, and my thoughts on how much is going to be, all of that, all of the details. So if you guys don't want to see that, you can just skip to the unboxing, but if you want to listen to me just ramble on for a while, then stay for that. Now, again, I don't have any drivers, but I am planning to do a build with this card along with a B660 board from Asus as well. So it's gonna be a nice build with some benchmarks once I finally have drivers. I'm not exactly sure if it's only me that's having this problem or everybody, but we'll have to wait and see. So firstly, let's quickly open it up and take a quick look at it, and then get into some of the more details. Now, kind of pricing wise, I think that's going to be the biggest factor for this card, because MSRP wise, it is retailing for $250 or like 240 pounds. And here in South Africa, it's going to retail for over 10,000 Rand from what I've heard so far. That's pretty much for here in South Africa what the RTX 2060 was at launch. So not the cheapest card available. But now, MSRP wise, it is pretty similar towards the previous more budget related GTX cards from previous generations. So you do have some correlations there. And it's also around $50 more compared to the AMD RX 6500 XT, which everybody's just complaining about. Which in a way at current pricing is the same as what this card should be at MSRP. So you are gonna pay more even for this card, unfortunately. So here we have the card. Well, that's our excitement for today. We'll just leave that there for now. So we have the card, and just along with everything we have some cable ties. That's pretty much it for what's inside the box. Oh yeah, and then you have your little baggie here with some of your Asus manual, and you have a card, and you have a thank you card as well. So here's just like a collector's card, not really I think, but there you go. There's a ROG Strix overclocking, like full heat dissipation, full. So yeah, all right. Cool. Now getting back into the pricing while we take a look at the card. So there's not going to be a Founders Edition this time, so that's going to help with supply for the AIB partner so they can actually produce more chips. But we are actually expecting the pricing to be around $400 to $500 from majority of third-party sellers. Most of the bigger retailers will have it for $250, but it's going to be instantly sold out, I believe. This is just my thinking, and that's also mostly in the US. Some of the other regions just going to be a complete nightmare. So like here in South Africa, it's not going to be anywhere close to MSRP. So we're thinking it's going to be roughly around the same price as the 6500 XT, and then also a 1650 Super, which is really sad just because of the massive high demand for those cards. All right, so now let's quickly take a look at the card, and we can already see I have actually pulled off some of the backplate cover here. So let's just get that out of the way. And we can already see, I do believe it's pretty much the same as the RTX 3060 ROG Strix. So you're getting roughly the same design here. I do love the new design that they have for the Strix card. It's probably my favorite new generation card design. This one is a bit more limited compared to some of the higher end cards, but I still really do like it. You do have the more black and gray color scheme going on here, but it's a nice angular design, and you do have some engraving on there and there. It's just a bit more going on really with the design, and again, I do like it more than the previous Strix generations. The game on here, you have your latitude and longitude here, coordinates. I think that takes you to their headquarters in Taipei, if I remember right. But you do have your 3 fans, again with the middle one spinning in the opposite direction of the 2 outer ones, so that just helps with air turbulence inside the cooler. Here on the side, you do have only a single 8-pin power connector. So power-wise, I'm not exactly sure on this one, but NVIDIA does say that it needs to run 130 watts. So that's kind of still crazy that it's using 130 watts, because I remember with my GTX 1050 Ti, that one didn't even have a power connector. It ran off just a power from the PCI Express slot, 75 watts. So they're not really going the efficiency route anymore, just power, and that's all. So you have your 8-pin power connector there. A 500 watts should be enough for that. Here on the back, you do get a nice black brushed aluminum backplate, which is aluminum. It's not plastic. That's nice. And you do also have your ROG graphic there. Looks really, really nice. It's a bit lighter there as well. And this also should be an ROG logo that lights up. And of course, you do have your open slot here at the back for all the air to pass through. Again, that's a new thing that they added for majority of the cards. I also see that here at the back, it's kind of hard to show you guys, but there, just like all of the previous Strix cards, you do have 2 additional PWM fan headers. So that's pretty nice if you want to connect additional fans onto the card, so it speeds up the fan RPM alongside the GPU. You do have that option, or it just gives you additional 2 fan connectors if your motherboard doesn't have enough. But no RGB connectors. I can't remember if some of the other cards had RGB connectors, but this one doesn't. Now I will say it does look a bit bare bones, really. You can like see the thermal pads down there, just underneath the cooler. So it's a bit too open for me personally. I would have liked it was a bit more covering everything, but it does lower the price point, and it can't be exactly the same design as the higher end cards. Or it can, but it's just not going to be. Now, cooling wise, I honestly don't think that's going to be a problem. These coolers are pretty good. Asus does a really good job with cooling. I have no issues with any of their cards or recent release of their 30 series cards, so not gonna have to worry about that. For the connector, actually, this is also something a bit new that I'm seeing, and that is that it is a PCI Express 4 slot, but it's only running at 8 times speed apparently. Now, it's not entirely confirmed yet, but from the information that I have, it's running only at 8 times, which is still the same as PCI Express at 316 times, so we'll just see how it fits with some motherboards with PCI Express 4. But of course, it should still work fine on a PCI Express 3 slot as well, but then it's only going to run at 8 times speed, which is still good enough for the card. The bandwidth is going to be plenty, honestly. Then next up for our I/O, we do have a display port, another display port, an HDMI, another display port, and another HDMI. So you do have plenty of ports there. I'm not exactly sure what versions they are, but probably not version 2.1 for the HDMI, because this is definitely not going to be able to do 4K at 144 Hz. So, alright, so now that we went over the design of the card a bit, let's quickly talk about the specs. So currently the 3050 is using the GA106 150 chip, and it does have 256 CUDA cores, which is actually 1024 less than the RTX 3060, but it's more than the RTX 2070. But of course, CUDA cores isn't everything. So clock speeds wise, it does have a base clock of 1550 MHz, which is actually more than the RTX 3060, and has a boost clock of 1780 MHz. Memory wise, it does have 8 gigs of GDDR6 memory, which is not bad at all. It's the same as the 3070. There's 3060 Ti also. It's just the 3060 that has 12 gigs. But it does also have the same bandwidth then as the 3070. However, it does have a smaller memory bus of only 128 bits, so it's even less than the RTX 2060. which is quite a bit. And there is where you kind of get the drop in performance. And then also on the FP32 compute units, the RT teraflops per second and also the Tensor teraflops per second is entirely less than all of the previous cards by quite a bit. So on a paper, it definitely doesn't sound bad at all, but Nvidia definitely made some reductions there so that it doesn't compete with any of their previous cards, especially like the 3060. But now let's get into mining, because everybody's worried about that, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be a problem, because some of the rumors going around is that it's only going to reach around 12.5 mega hashes per second at 73 watts, and that's some people who already got the cards early. So in theory, that would take you around 500 days of continuing mining to actually pay off the card. Now, I can't remember if that's with a power cost included, especially if you're here in South Africa. Power is extremely expensive, or when you have power, so it's going to take even longer than possibly. So I honestly don't think that's going to be a problem, because it's also going to take up space in a miner's rig, and they don't usually want that because it's just going to be a waste, especially if it doesn't mine that fast. And we're already seeing that miners, or smaller miners, are starting to sell some of their GPUs. We're starting to see it here in South Africa because the market currently just took a massive dump, and I think a lot of people are going to start selling their GPUs because they're not as profitable anymore, especially if you do pay quite a bit for your electricity. Again, here in South Africa. Then finally, for my thoughts on performance, some of the leaked benchmarks that we have seen, and usually they are kind of right. It looks like the 3050 is going to be comparable to a GTX 1660 Ti or a GTX 1070, which isn't really that bad, and I also don't think that's with a DLSS included. So I think that is where we're going to see a nice boost, but only in certain games. And then also you do have some of the additional features that Nvidia has with their RTX cards, namely the Nvidia Reflex, the broadcast. They do have the better encoding chip, the NVENC encoder chip, and just a few extra features that they actually have. So you're just getting that much more for what you are spending. So that's if you use all of those. But anyway, that's pretty much it. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I am going to do a build with this card and then actually benchmark the entire system so we can see how it performs. But unfortunately, I currently don't have drivers. I have the card, but no drivers, which sucks. But anyway, I do hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and comment like always. Also, check out the links in the video description. I will see once it's available, there will be links. But again, I do expect the pricing to be quite a bit higher than MSRP, unfortunately. So if you can get one at MSRP, kudos to you, but for everybody else. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you did enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe, and comment like always, and I will check all of you next time. Cheers, guys.